Let's go all the way out west. Yes, I am going to talk about the game that America, you either love them or you hate them. I'm, of course, talking about the Colorado Buffaloes. They are hosting the USC Trojans. Colorado, of course, is a 21.5-point underdog. USC, a 21.5-point favorite. The over-under at 73.5. And what's interesting about this game, first of all, we'll talk about Colorado's last week in a minute. But one, this actually opened as around a 4-touchdown USC as a favorite. So it's actually been bet down significantly. But when it opened, it was off of what happened last week. And everybody watched the game. You don't need me to tell you. Colorado got curb stomped in Eugene, right? 42-6 was the final score. 35-0 at halftime. Oh, by the way, the stat I keep throwing out, Oregon had more touchdowns in the first half, 5, than Colorado had first downs, 4. So I bring it up because it was ugly for Colorado. What I don't think enough people paid attention to, although the narrative is starting to get out this week, USC does not look good. USC does not look, well, I take that back. USC's offense is awesome because they got a guy named Caleb Williams who is just so special. And it's like, I will say this, like sometimes in life, like there's narratives that get a little bit overblown. And like sometimes you watch a player, like, is he really as good as everybody thinks? Oh yeah, Caleb Williams is as good as everybody thinks. Last week against Arizona State, he was unbelievable. 21, what were they? What was he? 20, I'm trying to find the stats here. 322 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And on the season, how about this? These are incredible stats. 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he's averaging 300 yards, 3.5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions per game. That's not bad. What is bad, though? That USC defense. Yeah, you knew I was going to go there, but I have to go there because it is just abysmal. That USC defense was bad on Saturday against a bad Arizona State team. Remember, Arizona State got shut out by Fresno State at home 2 weeks before. And now they play USC. USC gives up over 300 yards of total offense. Drew Pine has over 200 yards passing, and the starting the starting running back had over 100 yards rushing. And so when I watched USC on Saturday, you know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of last year when Caleb Williams had to bail out USC and USC's defense time and time again. That is why he won the Heisman Trophy. It was not only because he was phenomenal. It was not only because the stats were great. It was because they needed him to be great every week. And some thought USC was past that. Now, I said all offseason, I said, I get that they got 2 SEC defensive linemen on the transfer portal, Bear Alexander from Georgia, Anthony Lucas from Texas A&M. I said the great teams have 7, 8, 9 of those guys. USC has 2. And I never understood why everybody was so quick to assume that USC had figured out the defensive side of the ball based on their early season competition. Nevada, who they beat in week 1 by technicality, they played San Jose State in week 0. Nevada, who they beat in week 1, might be the worst team in FBS football. 0-4 got stomped by an FCS team. And then USC also beat Stanford, which might be the worst Power 5 team in college football. They lost 1 million transfers after David Shaw retired, wink, wink, if you know what I mean, last year. So I was never sold on USC. And I'll say this about this game. I don't know if Colorado can win, but I think they can keep it competitive. A few things stand out here. One, as bad as it looked for Colorado last week, let's keep in mind a few things. It was really bad. I'm not going to say it wasn't. The offensive line is a mess. But remember, it was 13-0, and they got a stop. And that was when Oregon ran the fake punt within their 20, for the first down. They don't run that fake punt. Colorado gets the ball back late in the first quarter, down 13-0, with a chance to cut into that lead. Let's also remember, after half, the score was 7-6. Now, you could say that Oregon took its foot off the gas, but I thought Colorado got used to the size and the speed of the game, even if they were clearly outmatched. Not to discredit Oregon. They're awesome. That's just my personal opinion. 2, the circumstances in this game are much more in Colorado's favor. They're at home. We've seen how those crowds get for home games in Boulder. We saw it with Nebraska a few weeks ago. We saw it with Colorado State a few weeks ago. That place is going to be electric. And then from the USC perspective, remember as well, they played a 10:30 Eastern time kickoff last Saturday, 7:30 Pacific. It ended after 11 Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern. I know that because I host Fox Sports Radio until 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific. I got off air. The game was still going on. So let's do some mental math here. That game ends probably about 11:15, 11:20 local time. Another hour to shower, do media. Another half hour to the airport. They're probably not getting to the airport till 1 a.m. They're probably not landing till 2:15, 2:20, 2:30. They're probably not getting back to their dorms till about 4 o'clock in the morning. Now they got to turn around and play a 10 a.m. local time game in Boulder. No, thank you. Finally, I'll say this. It is about the defense. And the thing about USC, it's not good. But the other thing is this. Colorado has quietly played some really good defenses. We're about to talk about Nebraska. Nebraska's defense is really good. Colorado moved the ball on them. Colorado State. I know we make fun of Jay Norvell because of some of the dumb stuff he said. Their defense is legit. And then finally, even TCU has played pretty good defense outside of that Colorado game. USC is the 77th ranked run defense. Every single team that Colorado has played is in the top 35 in run defense. So I think they're able to move the ball a little bit on the ground. But I bring it up because I think Colorado can do enough to keep it close. I would not bet the money line. But if you're asking me, can they cover 3 touchdowns and change? I think they can cover 3 touchdowns in the hook. Give me Colorado to cover, USC to win outright. I think this one's close. I think this one's competitive. And I think Lincoln Riley gets his pants pulled down a little bit, which sounds weirdly and wildly inappropriate. But I think there's a chance that it's close and competitive into the fourth quarter.